Good morning. Welcome to day 5. And today I have a testimony about an experience that I had that challenged me. And I'm so grateful for our community, for the support, just knowing that I'm not alone. And I want you to understand that you're not alone. You're not the only human being going through these challenges, and they're always going to be there. The difference in us is we are taking a concerted effort. We're learning to embrace life's challenges and to allow them. And so today, the theme of our day 5 is in line with allowing. It's all about not judging and just accepting the present moment. So I'll call this theme Receive It. Receive the present moment. Because as we discussed a few days ago in our call, most suffering, if not all, well, most suffering is in your mind. And it usually comes when we are hosting conversations that don't align with reality, when we're arguing about reality. So the testimony I want to give is yesterday, my wife and I, we took a flight. We had a flight that was supposed to leave at 11 a.m. So we live quite a distance from the airport. So we arrived at the airport. Well, we got about 4 or 5 hours of sleep because we had to leave extra early to get the kids ready, to make sure everybody was good before we left. And we left the house at about 8:30. We got to the airport at about 10:15. We get to our gate and we didn't have a seat. We were flying standby from an earlier flight, but we expected to be on that plane by 11. Now, prior to this, I had received a series of calls from my business that 2 years ago would have jeopardized the entire trip. A customer was upset about their vehicle. One of our techs had an injury, and he's one of my main guys. And then we were out of equipment, and it was on back order, and it was coming from California, so it was about a 3 to 4 day shipment, and we needed it yesterday. All this is happening while I'm driving to the airport, and the one thing I'm thinking about is I cannot let this affect my peace, because if it does, then it's going to affect my wife, and it's going to affect our trip. And then we get to the airport, and now it's, you can't board this flight. Remember, we had already planned our day. Once we arrive, we're going to do this. And so, okay, we go to the lounge. We wait. The next flight is at 1 p.m. Same thing happens. And this entire time, I'm telling my wife, this is part of our challenge. Will we allow this moment to define our day? This trip is ruined. This is not good. These are the words that my client was telling me. This is a mess. This is not good. This is not right. We cannot allow outside circumstances. We cannot allow what other people say to determine our peace, to affect our peace. Because then we start to think these things. Things should be going better than this. I should be married by now. I should have kids by now. I should be more successful. I should feel good about blah, blah, blah. No. Recognize the present moment is already here. We are not getting on the flight. And now what? Nothing else. There's nothing else. Well, I could have stayed in and slept longer. I could have, done this, gone to the... No. There's nothing you can do about the past. It's gone. Even the future, you don't know. But what's happening right now is We are not boarding this flight. We have access to a great lounge. Let's go to the lounge. Relax. And we went. We enjoyed ourselves. I did some journaling. We actually recorded a session together. And then we got on the 3 p.m. flight and arrived at our location at about 6. And nothing prior to that mattered. Now, the old me would have allowed that. And I could see it slowly affecting my wife as well. She was starting to get irritated because she had invested time waking up, getting the kids ready. But it didn't matter. We don't know. That could have prevented us from something. And guess what? When we got to the hotel, we did meet someone. We did meet the manager who upgraded our room. We did meet a great staff that was just getting in. And I don't know. That could have been the reason why our flight was late. We don't know. But the point is, that present moment happened. And whether I liked it, whether I disliked it, resisting it doesn't change it. It only creates inner friction. And I know this sounds like we're just repeating the same thing, but that's exactly what it is, because we're going through the same motions. And I have to say, I was proud of myself because I could see it. I could now separate myself from the anxiety. I could separate myself from the thoughts. And I had peace. I wasn't happy about the situation, but I had peace that somehow this is going to work out for my good. That some way these events are related to my destiny. And since I trust that God is allowing these things, I have to trust that it's going to work out. And so the shift for me was not, how do I get out of this, or how do I control this? The questions that I was asking myself was, number one, how do I fully engage and receive this moment in front of me? How do I remain at peace about what's going on in front of me? And how is God going to work this one out for my good? And I started thinking about all kinds of scenarios. And even that is something we want to get away from, but it's better than thinking of the negative scenarios. I started thinking like, okay, well, maybe this flight was preventing us from meeting someone. But the thing is, when I started thinking about the positive scenarios, it gave me greater peace. And I told my wife, I want to be able to go from a level of stability, because I was stable yesterday, but I want to go from that to joy. And I think there's levels in on our scale. I think the lowest level is despair or hopelessness, and the highest level is joy, is uncontrollable excitement. And we meet people like this who are always excited, always happy. I'm not one of those people. I'm usually stable, but there are times that I see these people and I want to have what they have. I want to drink what they're drinking. So the shift for me was, how do I receive the moment? And that's the shift that I'm challenging you guys. Whatever is happening this Friday in front of you, whatever is happening today, wherever you are, whatever time it is that you're listening to this, engage in that moment, not because you like it or you want it or you approve of it, but engage in it because it's here. It's in front of you. A customer is upset. You can't do anything about that. A build, you have a situation in your marriage. In fact, while we were going through this, my wife I could see she was visibly upset, and she was maintaining her distance from me. And I just did the opposite and embraced her, because I knew at that moment that my emotional response would either add or take away from our situation at that moment. Because your mind is going to constantly tell you lies and feed you things. This shouldn't be happening. This is the end. This is the worst. No, it's happening. Now, what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? So the question for today, the reflection question is, What are you resisting right now that you need to receive first before responding? And usually when you receive it and you sit in it, you can then respond from a place of wisdom. Life is happening right now. Not when things go according to how you want them to go, not when things get better. Let's receive this moment and then act from peace and not resistance. And the observation is, when you're not acting in the present moment, when you're giving meaning to things. And you know what that is? That's a form of arrogance. Because you're giving meaning to something that you don't even know. You don't know enough about the future to say if this is good or to say if this is bad. A delayed flight does not mean the trip is ruined. A lost sale does not mean the economy is bad. A customer complaint doesn't mean this project is a disaster. The event happened, and the story that you give it, that's optional. That's not truth. You don't have to go through that. And there are some signs that you are receiving the present moment. I'll give you a few signs that you are fully aligned with the present moment. Number one, you're in a position where you can give thanks. Thank you. You can show gratitude, not because of what's happening, but because of who has allowed it to happen and the fact that you're even able to experience it. I had to look around and realize I'm in a lounge where there's only maybe 10% of the population that can access this lounge. I had to look and see, we didn't get on a flight that only a few people in the world will be able to enjoy. We're here, legs, arms, breathing, healthy, we're able to walk and stroll. There's so much to be grateful for, but I rather pay attention to what's not happening, what's not in line with what I want. Another thing is you start to describe the moment instead of defining it. And you're receiving the present moment and you're in alignment when you can actually describe something. The customer is upset versus this deal is falling apart. You can describe what's going on. You can describe your state. Oh, I don't currently have any kids. I would like some, versus I'm never going to be able to have kids. I'm too old. One is a fact, and the other is a conclusion that you've come to based on the thoughts that you had. And you're not God. Now, if God gave you a revelation, that's very different. Another question that we ask when we are fully aligned in that present moment is, what now? Instead of, why me? Why is this happening to me? When you receive, you can look forward to the future. But resistance is constantly looking back in the past. Oh, this didn't happen because blah, blah, blah. No, it's happened. Another sign is when we are in alignment is we're willing to feel that discomfort and to sit in it. And it doesn't have to be fixed immediately. We can just sit there in the discomfort, in the pain. I think resistance, we're always trying to escape that discomfort. When we can receive and when we can allow, it says, this is uncomfortable, but I can sit here. I can be uncomfortable because God is with me in this discomfort. Another thing is you stay curious. Receiving, I wonder where this is going to go. I wonder how God is going to work this out for my good. And when you're in resistance, when you're not in alignment, you think you know what this means. You've blocked out all of these possibilities. And then finally, your peace, it has nothing to do with what happens. Whether it quote unquote is negative or positive, your peace is stable. You don't need the problem to be solved before you can breathe. And if you're failing this challenge, it's okay. If you fail this challenge every single day, that means you failed 30 times more than someone who hasn't even attempted the challenge. And so in your failure, you've actually gotten better, but you don't even realize it. There's no way you can fail something so many times without improvement. And if you're doing all these things, then you will get better. So let's stop arguing with reality. Stop mentally time traveling. You're either receiving the present moment, or what else are you doing? Stop trying to control people. They should change. They should agree. They need to understand. And create your identity, not from what's happening, but from who you are. Your identity does not come from this temporary event. Your identity is rooted in God and who you are. So when something happens, you go back. What happened? What meaning am I adding to it? And can I separate the fact from the story and then take action? If we look in Genesis, Adam's first assignment wasn't to change the garden or to cultivate. It was to see it, to name what was there. Not what he feared, not what he wished, what was actually there in front of him. And many of us, that we're not suffering from what's in front of us, what's real. We're suffering from the comments, the chatter about reality. Receiving that present moment, it's part of our challenge, and it's the practice of returning to what is actually here before the mind starts to rush in and tell us what it means. So today's mantra, today's affirmation: I will receive the moment before I define it, and I will separate facts from stories, and I'm going to respond to what is, not what my mind says it means.